Good morning. My name is Aaron Glass, and this is my senior stage. Everyone thinks about their high school experience differently, and I know I will probably process mine in a ton of different ways as I move forward in my life. That's just how it works. But today, I want to talk about the most important thing that at this moment I've taken out of my experience in high school and my life experience in general. People will give you gifts that you never expect. And I don't mean surprise parties or Christmas presents. There are things I've learned from people over the years that I'll probably carry on with me for the rest of my life. I've been given all these precious little gifts over the course of my life, and today I want to share some of those and thank the people who have given them to me. First, I want to talk about my kids. And when I say kids, I mean my 8-year-old niece, Adriana, my almost 4-year-old nephew, Arthur, and my 2-year-old nephew, August. I call them my kids because that's basically who they are to me. They matter to me just as much as my own children might. And with the amount of time I spend taking care of them and watching them and playing with them and hanging out with them, my family agrees that I'm basically their little parent. They've given me so many gifts since they came into my life. Adriana, the gift of cuddling after reading a bedtime story together one night because she just wanted company as she fell asleep. Arthur, the gift of asking me to make paper airplanes for him. He's probably the only person who's ever appreciated my paper airplane making skills. August, the gift of hearing him call out my name from the hallway when I wake up in his home on my frequent trips to Boston. Because whenever I'm there, he does not want to leave my side. They've given me so many of these little gifts, little memories. But collectively, they've given me one really big, important gift. So depression sucks. I've dealt with it most of my life, especially sophomore and junior year. I fell into a really deep, dark hole. It was difficult to pull myself out of it. I don't like to say I was suicidal, but I considered it. There were plenty of times I did things not to actively end my life, but to sabotage it to the point that it might end. There were also plenty of times I was fearfully close to doing something extreme to end it. Though I don't really like to exaggerate, I will say that my niece and nephews are part of the reason I'm still alive. When I would contemplate doing any kind of self-destructive thing, I always reminded myself of Adriana and Arthur and August. They are 8, 3, and 2 years old. They are not old enough to remember me, yet. Not enough, at least. One of the things that kept me from destroying my life was the thought of leaving my kids with their only memories of me being faint and vague, or of hearing family members' stories of the person I used to be. I would only be in their minds in memory or in grief. I didn't want to leave them with that only. I wanted them to have more memories of me, and I didn't want these to be my own memories of them either. I want to see them grow up, and I want to grow up with them. I also want to be here for them if they ever go through these same things. Because if they do, I don't want to have them think of their Uncle Aaron who killed himself, and think that it's okay for them to give up too. Because it's not. I will not be the one to teach them that lesson. I want to be here to teach them the lesson that it gets better, and that giving up isn't the way to go. They gave me the gift of having a purpose, a responsibility, making me accountable. Their gift to me was making sure that I stay around to reciprocate these gifts. I'm glad I've stayed around so far too. Especially recently, I found some people who I can truly call the best friends I've ever had. I know they're here for me, and they know that I'm always here for them. We support each other because that's who we've become to each other in our lives. This is my family. I have the family I was born into, but I also have these people. Lily, Sammy, Bridget, Aiden, and Will, who goes to another school. These 5 people have become, over the past year or so, some of the most important people in my life. They've given me gifts and taught me things that I would never have expected them to, but these gifts have ultimately helped me become who I am. Aiden has been here for me since middle school. The past few years, there have been times I've sat with him in the locker pod in the basement of Row just to rant about what was going on with my life and how much I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't think I'd make it to graduation or senior year at all. I was convinced I'd drop out, get kicked out, or die before that happened. Even if Aiden won't remember, I remember him talking me down from rough times. I remember having conversations with him about the future and about life and about school and about dying. They may have been bleak, but ultimately kept me around a little bit longer. Reminded me that I wasn't alone in this. Aiden gave me the gift of hope. Sammy brought me the gift of presence. Not like presents, but like presence in the moment. Introspection, self-awareness. They helped me look into myself and actually be able to see who I am underneath everything. And they helped me find the tools to make myself better. They gave me the gift of showing me how to slow down and think about my presence in the world. They helped me learn how to take care of myself in situations when I didn't feel well, when I so often did, what just made me feel worse. Bridget gave me a gift that reminds me a lot of the one that my nieces and nephews gave me. Bridget reminds me every day why I'm here. Because at one point, I was a sophomore kind of like her, but I had no real family here yet. And I had nowhere to go and nobody to turn to. Now, here I am to try to give Bridget that home that I wish I had, and to be a friend that I might have needed, that she needs now. Sometimes I wonder if Bridget is that gift that my nieces and nephews left for me. She's my reminder why I'm here, so that I can give back the gifts that people have given me. I'm glad to have been able to give Bridget this family as well, because I'm not letting that go. When Lily came out about a year ago, seeing her come to school with a skirt on for the first time was surprising. It was different, but I started to see her as who she was. And then I started to think about who I was. I thought about it before then, but it was last year when I finally figured it all out. I am queer. I am gender fluid. I use they, them, and she, her pronouns. My name is Aaron, but I also go by Angela. And yes, this is me officially coming out. But that's not what I want to stress right now. I couldn't stop you, I'm sorry. I want to acknowledge the people who have helped me get here. Lily, Bridget, Sam, Aiden, Will, all gave me the gift of, cliche as it might be, love. To love myself no matter who I am, and to remind me that I am loved no matter who I am. Lily gave me the gift of fearlessness, to become that person that I know I am. I may not be family to all of you guys, but what I want to leave you with is that you will find your family and friends. If you look hard enough, these gifts people give you are everywhere. You may not remember getting them, you may not remember who they're from or when you got them. It may take you years to even unwrap all the packaging completely, but they are there. And each one of you is going to find them, as long as you find your family. And you'll find them too. It may be one person, it may be 20, you might lose some, you might gain some, but you will find them. They probably won't be who you expect them to be either. And as you move forward through your life, you will continue to spread gifts to those around you, sometimes without even knowing that you've given them. Thank you.